You're wondering why I keep putting the same things on my list. Like, why does it keep happening? I'm gonna read to you the definition of self-sabotage because it was so good to me. Self-sabotage is the act of creating obstacles that interfere with your own success, goals, and well-being. Like, we literally create our own obstacles that get in the way of what we actually desire and want to do. Why would we do that? And what does it look like when we're doing it? Because, let's be honest, a lot of times we don't always know that we're doing a thing. We just recognize that we keep going in circles and we recognize patterns in our lives, but we don't actually recognize the self-sabotaging behaviors that are contributing to the fruit of what we're seeing. So today we're going to talk about it. Okay, so you obviously clicked on this video because somewhere in your heart, in your mind, this resonated with you. Self-sabotage, the idea of getting in your own way. And you have probably felt and seen in your life times where you were so close to the thing, in some way or another it disappeared, it didn't happen, and you're like, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep running into these same kind of friendships and relationships? How do I get so close to losing so much weight and then I find myself gaining it back? How in the world do I get close to finishing my degree and then all of a sudden things keep happening and then I don't finish it? How is it that I procrastinate to the end of time and just create all this pressure on myself to create a thing? Why is it that I keep noticing that I am not getting the goal, the success, the reward, the whatever it is that I'm trying to obtain? Why is it that it seems like it's so close yet so far away at the same time? Now, it could be a lot of different reasons, like the timing of the Lord. That's important to acknowledge, because sometimes we work towards things out of our own selfish ambition, and God is like, it's a good thing, but it's not a God thing for right now. But we're not talking about those moments. We're talking about, you wrote it on your vision board, right? You made these New Year resolutions. You're preparing for next year and all the things that you're gonna do, and you're only reminded of the things that didn't get done the previous time, which is why it's on your New Year's resolution list again. You're wondering why I keep putting the same things on my list. Like, why does it keep happening? And so I just wanted to share some signs of self-sabotaging behaviors, because we see the fruit of it. We see the frustration of the fact that these things have not happened. I keep desiring it and I keep having to run for it, trying to get it, and it's not, I can't lay hold of it. I can't lay hold of it. So we recognize that much. Now we need to understand what is contributing to it, and then what's the root behind it. Because at the end of the day, we want to uproot these things. I'm literally sitting here thinking about, it was so funny. It kind of aligns, but anyway. So there was this time where I was in college and I got my bachelor's in social work at the University of Central Florida. Go Knights. And there was a deadline to apply for your master's degree. So if you didn't know, in social work, if you get your bachelor's in social work and you want to go for your master's degree, it only takes 1 year to do it. And so most people are just like, go straight into your master's program after your bachelor's, get it over with. And I'm like, oh yeah, like that sounds like a good idea. I definitely want to do that. Y'all, procrastinated to no end. And I waited so late that the deadline was passed. And my husband, yeah, he was my husband at the time. No, we were just talking at the time, I believe. I think so. Nonetheless, no, I think we were married. We got married at the end of 2013. So anyway, he talked me into, you should just go ahead and apply, even if it's past the deadline. Crazy, because I'm a rule follower, and I'm like, I don't think they're gonna do it. Y'all, they looked at my application. They was like, this is beautiful. They accepted me after the deadline. And I share this with you because procrastination is one of the clearest signs of self-sabotage. But it's like, we want something, but we wait to the last minute because we're thinking about all the things that we can do, the different possibilities, the different options, when at the end of the day, my goal was to be an educated woman. I enjoyed school, I liked school, it wasn't a bad idea to actually just finish my degree in one more year. But I kept telling myself I have more time, or I'll wait, I'll do this, and I was going to totally change the trajectory of my life because of procrastination. Imagine if, and this is the thing, procrastination is often this arrogant assumption that we have more time than we think that we do. Now in this case, the grace of God saved this whole thing, and he spoke to people and gave me favor with people to get me into the program. But there are times where, hey, there's no grace there, and we literally missed it, and we have to eat that. We got to take that L. We got to deal with the fruit thereof, because we literally waited to the end of time to do something, and the time passed. And it could have been yours to have. That degree could have been yours to have. That scholarship could have been yours to have. That grant could have been yours to have. That job could have been yours to have. But because you procrastinated, it's not yours. You don't have that opportunity anymore. Okay, so that is number one. One of the first signs of self-sabotage is procrastination. Number two, another sign of self-sabotaging behavior is negative self-talk. I mean, you will sit up here and tell yourself, girl, you can never eat healthy. You could never go back to school to do X, Y, and Z. Girl, you could never have that type of husband. Girl, you could never have that car. With that income, you could never own a house. These are the things that you're telling yourself, even though in your heart, you want the house, you want the job, you want the marriage, you want the car, you want X, Y, and Z. But you are allowing these thoughts in your mind to dictate how your life is going to go. So you're like, yeah, you're right. I don't make enough money to get a house on my own. Who am I to think that as a single woman, I can purchase my own home? Who am I? I don't think I could actually have a husband like that. Like, that's for, you know, these type of women that look like this and have this and come from this kind of background. But I can just, if I just have a faithful man, that's all that matters. But these are things that we are feeding our spirit and allowing us to be guided along our different paths based on what we're telling ourselves. And we have the opportunity to stop that. Okay. Sign number two. Number three, another self-sabotaging behavior is undermining relationships. Okay, so you get the good friend, you get an amazing husband, you have an incredible boyfriend, X, Y, and Z, and you just go around picking fights. You just be mad for no reason. Everything is fine, but you, sis, you be the problem. Finding things to be upset about, looking for something. This is too good to be true. I'm sure they're doing something. I'm sure that you're trying to find your way into something negative because in your heart you want that healthy relationship, but you're like, can it actually happen for me? And this is getting to the end of my video, but I want you to recognize the times where you just spicy for no reason. No reason. There's a reason. But have you ever realized, man, I've seen multiple friendships where it's like things were going good and then I just stopped talking to them. I was like, you know what? I didn't like the way they did X, Y, and Z. And instead of having the conversation with them, you just backed off completely. And then you see these cycles of this happening repeatedly throughout your lifetime. That's a sign of self-sabotaging behavior. You want the good, healthy relationships, but somewhere in you, you don't believe that you can actually have those. Self-medicating is another one. This could look like alcohol, abuse, comfort eating, finding things to numb the feelings that you have instead of addressing them. That is a clear sign of self-sabotage. When you look for substances and things to solve problems that could be solved without its interaction, if you would just choose to address them. Clear sign of self-sabotage. Last sign of, I'm sure, many signs, but as we talked about before, would be the repeated cycles. So if you recognize that every time I get to this point in a relationship, it crumbles, or you recognize that every time I make a friend, this happens, or you recognize every time I try to eat right and I try to work out and be consistent in X, Y, and Z, this happens. This is a clear sign that you are probably self-sabotaging when you see repeated cycles of the same thing happening over and over and over again. That is your clear sign that something's a little off here, and it might be me. I very well may be the problem. Alrighty, let's get to the root of why we participate in some of these self-sabotaging behaviors. Number one, self-esteem, low self-esteem at that. I can say that in multiple times in my life, I have recognized that I was sabotaging opportunities and positions because deep down inside, I didn't even think that I was worthy of the thing that other people saw in me. So sometimes we can esteem ourselves far lower than how God esteems us, right? And so for an example, say people have been saying, wow, you should really apply for this new position. I think you'll be great for it, a great leadership position, X, Y, and Z. And you're going back and forth, and now you're procrastinating on if you should and if you shouldn't, and then you're filling out the application and you have that negative self-talk of, I don't even think I can do this, I don't even know what they see in me, all the different things, and it leads you to now not participate in the promotion process and being a part of a new position that you actually really wanted, because deep down in your heart you feel like you're not worthy of it and it's not something that you can sustain. And so you choose to either not go for the opportunity, or you may even get the opportunity. You get external validation, but internally you're like, I can't even be this person. Like, oh, they didn't like this, they didn't like that. I knew that I wasn't cut out to be this thing. And so recognizing the root of low self-esteem is so important, because now you have to go to a place and say, God, can you help me see myself how you see me, versus me looking at all of my mistakes, all of my quirks, all of my flaws, and discounting what you could have blessed me with. It makes me think of Gideon when God called him a mighty man of valor. He's like, me, I'm the least of the tribes. Like, how could you see me as this mighty warrior? Surely you don't have the right person. And I think that how we estimate ourselves and our self-worth is so important, but it causes us to either participate at the level we should or well beneath the level we should. And so be careful of that. Understand that that is a root that needs to be uprooted and explored, and that you just really need God to give you a new image. Okay. Another root of self-sabotaging behavior can simply be the fear of success. And when we think about it, and I know we've heard this, and it's like, sometimes are we making up these words? Sometimes I really be thinking about this in this day and age. But the fear of success could look like, hey, I don't want to be seen and known as a person who's really good at video, or really good at public speaking, or really good at leadership, because I know that if people find out about those things, then they're going to have expectations of me, and I don't know if I can live up to those expectations. They may want me to now be in a position that I'm actually not asking for, and I don't want those responsibilities. So what I'm going to do is hide my gifts, hide my capabilities, hide what I'm really good at, because I don't want anybody to have these newfound expectations of me. I'd rather live a life without external expectations and just keep that to myself. That is so real, y'all. I can't tell you how many times that I've done that, because I'm just like, I just want a simple, quiet life. Because once people be finding out certain things, they're going to ask things of me. And it's really selfish, because it's like, hey, I know I could help other people, but I don't want the responsibility that comes with helping people. And so I'm going to just stay to myself. And that's a real thing that could sabotage our next level, because what if your next level is more responsibility? To whom much is given, much is expected, much is required. And so I think that running from this fear of responsibility and commitment will really keep you from being all that God called you to be. Okay, now on the opposite extreme is a fear of failure. which I would like to say the fear of rejection, okay? Because sometimes we don't endeavor to do things because it's not that we fear that we're gonna fail, but we don't want to be seen trying. We don't want to be seen missing the mark. We don't want to be seen being less than, and therein people are going to reject you or think you're lame or think you're not capable. So it's just best not to try at all, not be seen trying, not going for the thing, because at the end of the day, I don't want to be rejected for what people thought I was going to be good at. You know what I mean? And it's a real thing. It causes people to not participate socially. It causes them not to bring forth their ideas, because what if my idea isn't chosen? Once again, that is a root of rejection. And so when we participate at that level, people never get to see our quirkiness, our ideas, our uniqueness, because we're so concerned about the perception of people. And that will cause us to, once again, not try the new things, not go after new opportunities, and not be our full selves, because we don't know if our full self will be accepted. Now, this is a unique one that maybe not a lot of people experience, or maybe a lot of people experience, and they never really knew that this was the language for it. But the need for control. Now, I'll just share my own personal testimony. I was talking to one of my pastors recently, and I was like, hey, I just want to understand. When I have understanding, I have clarity, and I can move forward and I can do X, Y, and Z. But if clarity isn't given to me, and if understanding isn't given to me, then I'm just going to sit here, because why would I try? Why would I do something and miss a mark that I'm not aware of because I don't have the understanding? And the real root of it was that I wanted to be able to control what X, Y, and Z outcome was going to be. So if you give me what I want and how I want to interpret it and how I want to do a thing, then I'll be responsible for what the outcome is. And if you don't give me that control, I'm just going to choose something that I can control, which is inaction. I'm just not going to participate, because I know how to control that. I can control that part. I can control not doing a thing because I'm waiting for you to do something. And in reality, you just want to control the situation. And you may not get that answer. You may not get that clarity. You may not get that understanding. But are you going to cause that to stop you from doing a thing that you could and you have the power to do? Are you? That's a self-sabotaging behavior, and it's rooted in that need to control. And the reality of it is that you literally cannot control everything. You can only control what you can control. And then when there are uncontrollables in life, how are you going to process that? How are you going to move forward instead of regress back, versus moving forward? And so that one really hit me, because I'm like, dang it, I want to blame the other person. They need to give me what I want. But the reality is that you won't always get what you want. And yeah, when you grown up getting what you want most of the time, you realize that that was cute in mommy's house, in granny's house. But in the big wide world, everyone doesn't want to do what you want to do. So what are you going to do with that? Are you going to control the situation by saying, I'm not going to participate? Are you going to say, I got it. I'm going to take what I can and do what I can with what I have. Lastly, sometimes trauma could really be the root of the self-sabotaging behavior. If you've been in a place where you have been abused, you've not been allowed to express yourself, not allowed to say the things that you wanted to say, you may be given the opportunities to speak and to lead, but you end up reverting back to maybe that child that didn't have the opportunity to share. So you just don't share now because you see yourself as that little person, that person who was traumatized and that person that was hurt, versus the adult that has been given this opportunity. And that's a big root to try to uproot, if you will. But it just involves healing and asking God to heal you and forgive the people that participated in the things that hurt you in the past. So yeah, that's one of them. All in all, I hope this was helpful for you. This is a little bit longer than I had initially planned, but I hope at some point this spoke to you in some kind of way, and you recognize the behaviors that have caused you to stop pursuing your dreams, that have caused you to stop pursuing opportunities that could be the key to your next level. And sometimes we desire things in our heart so big, but we just don't believe that we can have them. And I think that's the part that breaks my heart, because it's like, we have these desires, some that God has placed on the inside of us, and it's like, I don't know how that's gonna happen. And why would you choose me? Why would you give me such a big vision? Do you know who I am? Do you know all the ways that I've messed up? Do you know the times where I tried and it didn't work out, and obviously the people didn't like it, but yet and still you were chosen for so many different things? And sometimes you just have to sit with it and say, well, God, if you've given me this desire, give me also the faith to believe that I can have it. And even to other dreams that I have in my heart that God placed in my heart, I'm like, Lord, you gave me this vision of doing all these different things, and these opportunities don't even present itself at this level. So if they're not presented at this small level, what makes you think that I can believe that they can happen on an even grander level? That's crazy, Lord. But at the end of the day, we have to believe that it's possible for us. It's not too good to be true. It's not too good to be true. It is not too good to be true. It can happen for you. It doesn't just happen for certain people and special people. I was talking to someone the other day, or when I created a post the other day, talking about God's goodness did not stop with me. I had a challenging year, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna stop here. His goodness and mercy follows me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. But surely his goodness and mercy follows after me. It follows after you, your friends, your cousins, your mama, your daddy, your children, everybody, if we believe that. And so my heart desire is that you believe it going into next year. You're recognizing that we're now, because new year is now. But I want you to recognize the areas where you have self-sabotage your own desires and your own dreams. And when you're aware of it, you say, I'm procrastinating. Okay, what's the root of that? Do I not believe I can actually have this? Do I not believe that I will actually do well at this presentation? So I'm just going to give myself 2 hours to do it anyway, because in my heart, I really don't believe I'm going to do good, even if I gave it 22 hours. Really dig into those things and get to the root of it, and ask God to meet you there, in that place, so he can uproot it and he can heal you and restore you in those areas, and give you faith and hope to believe that all things are possible to him that believes in him. Okay, so I love y'all so much. I pray this is your best year yet, y'all, and that we just get out of our own way. It's old now. It's not cute anymore. You're 30, 40, 50. I don't care if you're 18. After a while, you want to see a life that's full of you taking the risk and believing in yourself. And it is totally possible if we get out of our own way. So I pray that the Lord gives you clarity during this time, and that you truly get out of your own way. No more self-sabotaging, okay? Love y'all. See you later. Bye.